Hello and welcome to this beginner's headstand class. My name is Charlie. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. In this session, I'll be sharing some of the drills and techniques from my upcoming headstand program, which is launching this Saturday. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description down below. When you're ready, let's get into it. Welcome to class. We'll get started with a few different drill sequences so that you can understand how to prepare the different parts of your body so that they're ready for a headstand. And then we'll move into the headstand practice a little later on. So when you're ready, come and lie down on your back. We'll start with 4 core drills. And these are so that you can focus on the deeper abs, side abs, up and lower abs. So as you lie down, make sure that your low back is resting against the mat, and you want to focus on keeping that low back in connection with the mat throughout so that it's supported. Then bend your knees and bring your thighs close to your chest. And this will also help keep the lower back pressing into the mat. Then rest your arms by your side. Take a moment to steady your breaths. You start the practice from a place of energy. So we'll just take a couple breaths here. You can let your shoulders relax, let your belly relax. Just tune into your body. Then on your inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, and reach your arms to tap your heels. So you find this tuck position. You want to come in as close as you can. Think of bringing your chest to your thighs. Good, so exhale here. Now we'll move with the breath. Inhale, reach your arms overhead and extend your legs to find a hollow body position. Keep your low back on the mat. Then exhale, knees come to chest, hands tap the heels to your tuck. So we'll complete that a few more rounds. Inhale, open out, hollow body. Exhale, tuck. Go for 8 more rounds of this. Try to find that rhythm of your breath and your movement. Not rushing it. Really take your time to get those reps in a way that counts rather than just repping it out. We've got 3 more to go. Last one, come back to your tuck, then hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Relax your arms, head, and the upper back. You can keep the legs as they are for now. Take a little breather. Give yourself about 10 to 15 seconds, which is roughly 3 to 4 really deep breaths. Good. Now extend your legs all the way up, and you're looking to line your feet over your hips. Then flex your feet so your toes come towards your face. This time, start with your arms overhead. Inhale here. Think of really expanding the chest. Create lots of space to take in that breath. Then as you exhale, reach your arms up to tap your toes, and you want to lift the upper back off the mat. 9 more of these with your breath. So inhale, arms overhead, expand the chest. Exhale, toe tap. 8 more to go. See how high you can lift each time you tap your toes. Four more to go. Last one, as you tap your toes, hold it here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. You can rebend your knees, relax your head and your upper back on the mat. Again, 3 to 4 really generous breaths just to rest in between rounds. So soften your belly, relax your whole body. Nice. And interlace your fingers behind the back of your head. So you support your head and neck and lift your elbows up towards the ceiling. So it's like you're hugging the sides of your head.
And keep your right knee bent, extend your left leg and twist to the right. Good. Inhale, come back through center, bend your left leg, extend your right, twist left. So we're going to go through that a few more times. Twist to the right, switch legs, and twist to the left, switch legs. Keep it going, 8 more of these to go. So this time it's a little more because you have to go right and left to complete one full round. Keep your breath steady. Inhale through center, exhale as you twist. 4 more to go. And last one, really good. And come back through center, relax your arms, head and upper back. Take a few moments, catch your breath. We have one last round to do, and this one is really for your lower abs. So first exercise is really for the deeper abs, second exercise, upper abs, last exercise, side abs. So now we're traveling all the way down to the lower abs. So for this one, relax your arms by your side. Your head and your upper back will stay on the mat. Lift your legs all the way up, so feet in line with hips. Then very slowly on your exhale, start to brace your core, as if you're drawing your navel down to your spine, and slowly lower the legs. The focus here is to keep the low back on the mat. So as soon as it starts to lift, you've gone too far. So exhale, you'll lower the legs, and then inhale, you'll lift them back up. And we're going for 10 of these. So super slow on the way down, keep it controlled. Inhale as you lift up. 8 more to go. Really listen to your breath, move with control. Keep your low back pressing into the mat, shoulders relaxed. Last 2. Last one. As the legs lower down, hold them there. You're going to hold them there. Lift your head, lift your upper back, reach your arms forwards, holding for 5. Keep your tummy braced for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, relax everything. Find that tuck position or whatever works for you. 3 to 4 breaths here. Okay, when your breath is feeling steadier, come up and meet me in a tabletop position. So hands and knees position. Now we'll spend a little bit of time to warm up the wrists, shoulders, and upper body. So spread your fingers wide and really grip the mat with each fingertip, as if you're creating spiders with your hands. We'll start with a figure of 8. So imagining you're drawing a figure 8, shift forwards over your wrists and then back towards your knees. So just a really nice movement. You can take it slow to begin, and then you can start to speed it up and exaggerate it a little bit more. And then because we always have this tendency to go in one direction, switch directions so you're going the non-habitual route. Just a couple more like this. And then bring your shoulders over your wrists, back to tabletop. This time, shift your weight forward so the shoulders come past the wrists and the wrists come into extension. And we want to build some strength here. So hold this position and at the same time, push the floor away. So you're shifting your weight forwards, but you're also pressing the floor away. Keep holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Slowly shift back. Come and sit all the way back on your heels so you find a kneeling position. And then flip your right hand down. And this may already be far enough, and if that's the case, just stay with one hand, or if you could go further, you could also flip the left hand. If you're doing one, I'll tell you when to switch. Then from this position, you'll press the tops of your hands into the mat. So again, pushing the floor away, strengthening your wrists in flexion now. So it's just the opposite of the previous drill. And you may find that this is already intense enough. But if you feel that there's more space, there's a little bit of room to play, make fists with either one hand or both hands. Hold your fingers together tightly and then release. And you'll move through that a few more times. Okay, so if you're just doing the one hand, switch hands now. And you can play around with either just pressing the floor away or moving through these fists. Okay, so super slowly peel your hands off the mat and bring the backs of your hands together like so. And then you'll spin your fingers to face your face and then close your hands together. Then open them apart, keeping the thumb side together, and then the backs come together again. So we'll go a little bit quicker moving through these full rotations, and this should feel delicious for your wrists after that last one. So you can start slow, and when you get familiar with the movement, you can speed it up. And then let's switch directions so the hands are moving away from you this time. And then finally shake out your hands all together as if you were flicking water off your fingertips. And come back into your tabletop position. So we've focused on your abs and your wrists. Now we've got the upper body, in particular the shoulders. So from your tabletop position, I want you to sink your chest down and think of squeezing your shoulder blades together. So that's the action that you're looking to happen. And this is known as retraction. And then let's practice the opposite. So push the floor away, broaden your upper back, move the shoulder blades apart. And this is protraction. So let's go through that a few more times. Retract the shoulder blades, squeeze them together so the chest moves down. Then push the floor away, chest lifts up and the back broadens. Keep it going at the pace of your own breath. You can go pretty quick with this, or you could keep it slower if you are new to the movement. Good. Then come back into retraction, so the chest is sinking down, and get familiar with what this feels like. And this is what happens to most beginners when it comes to headstands. They sink into their shoulders, and this is that sinking feeling. So I want you to get familiar with this so you know what not to do. Then let's practice the opposite. So push the floor away, broaden your upper back, shoulder blades come apart. And this is that action of pressing the floor away. And this is what we're looking for throughout our practice. So whenever you feel yourself sinking, try to focus on pressing away so you come back to this place of stability. Okay, then keeping your hips over your knees now, walk your hands forwards. Go as far forwards as you can without letting your hips move. Then let your chest sink down, and you may find as the chest sinks down, there's also a little bit more space might become available for the hands to walk forwards. Then rest your forehead on the mat so the neck can relax. And instead of simply sinking here without any activation in the upper body, press your hands down into the mat. And as you do this, you should start to feel a waking up in the arms and the shoulders. So keep pressing the hands into the mat, and we're just going to hold this here. Find a steady breath. Keep your head and neck relaxed. 2 more breaths here. Awesome. Come all the way back to your tabletop position. So it's likely your shoulders are feeling a little tired now, and that's okay. So start to roll one shoulder in and then out as you bring the other in. And you can start with this movement, just rolling your shoulders in and out. Maybe start to bend the arms so that you can dip down a little bit more. And then when you get familiar with this, I know it's a little bit of a strange one, you can start to snake the shoulders. So you roll the right in and then move forwards as you roll the left. So it's like a snake, like an animal movement. So keep it going side to side. Try to access as much space as you can in the shoulders. Get a little bit weird with it, it's okay. All right, and then come back into your tabletop position. Last drill for your shoulders. So bring your forearms down to the mat and then bring both hands to the insides of your elbows. You want to be able to hold onto your elbows or your upper arms. So this is how we measure the distance from your shoulders. And keeping the elbows where they are, clasp your hands together and clasp them together tightly. So you make a fist with your hands. And before we get started, focus on protraction. So you push the floor away, but this time you're pressing from your elbows all the way down to your hands. Then step your feet back to come into a forearm plank. Keep your hips level with your shoulders so they're not piking up, they're not dipping down, everything in one line. And then from here, you'll shift your weight forwards and your shoulders past your wrists, come up onto your tiptoes, and then shift back. A few more times like this. Shift forwards and back. Keep pushing the floor away. Let's go for 3 more. 2 and 1. Whew. Come down to your knees and back into your tabletop position. And then from here, sit on one side and swing your legs forwards. So we'll give the upper body a break for a moment whilst we focus on the legs, because this is an area that beginners often forget about when it comes to headstand. It's actually a full body practice. It's not just about the lower body. So set your legs about hips width distance apart and flex your feet. And as you do so, I want you to think of drawing your kneecaps up to your hips so your whole legs are actively engaged. Then from here, bring your fingertips to your temples like so. With an inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, hinge from your hips. You're keeping your spine nice and long as you fold forwards. So the chest will stay up, the fold is happening lower down. So inhale, lift, bring your head in line with your hips. Exhale, hinge forwards. Keep your legs engaged, feet flexed. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hinge. Try to bring your belly close to your thighs. Find some compression there. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Couple more to go. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. And hold that folded position, but reach your arms forwards. Gaze down to relax your head and neck. And focus on keeping the spine long so the chest lifted. The fold is happening at your hips. Keep reaching your arms forwards as if you were holding onto a rope and you could pull yourself further towards your legs, towards your feet. Hold it here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Sit yourself all the way back up. Place your hands by your hips, bend your knees, and set your feet as wide as your mat. And just start to knock your knees from side to side. So we're looking to mobilize your hips now. So tap your knees side to side. And then we'll add on. So the next time your knees go to the left, see if you can pick up the right leg. And then lower it back down. Switch to the right, pick up the left leg. So go through that a few times. And then if you want the challenge, take your hands away. So no support from the hands. And continue to lift. You should feel this a little bit more on your hips without the use of your hands. Okay. So complete whichever side, whichever round you're on. Then scoot your hips back, straighten your legs, and then open your legs wide into a straddle. They don't have to go super wide. It's not really about the level of flexibility. It's just about having them in a straddle position. So pretty similar to the way that we practice in our forward fold. Have your hands either on your temples, so you're not tempted to use them, or hold onto your elbows. I prefer this, but go for whichever feels best for you. And just like before, hinging from the hips, chest stays up and open. The fold is happening down here. On your inhale, lift up, flex your feet, engage your legs. As you exhale, fold forwards. Try to go as far forwards as you can instead of as far down. So the aim is length forwards. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, forwards and fold. Go for 8 more of these. Really work with your breath. And that's 10. Good. Sit yourself back up. You can bring your legs together and swing them round. Then that completes our full body warm-up. So we've done abs, wrists, shoulders, hamstrings, and hips. Now we'll work into some of the beginner basics. So we'll be looking at how to set your foundation. We won't be coming all the way up into the headstand, so there's no need to worry about that. But if you do feel more confident knowing that you've got a support nearby, go and move your mat over to the wall. And then when you're ready, we'll start in a tabletop position. First, we'll look at our tripod headstand. So this is where we've got our head and our hands on the mat. So to begin with, just like in tabletop, start to spread your fingers wide, press down through each fingertip so your hands are actively engaged. Then shift your weight forward so shoulders come past wrists and bend your elbows. And the reason why we shift forwards is so that when the elbows bend, they align over the wrists. Because if we started bending them back here, they're going to go back here and we lose stability there. We lose the integrity of our foundation. So shift your weight forwards, bend your elbows, and then start to bring your chin to your chest, angle the crown of the head down, and then bring your head down to the mat. Hold it here a few moments just to get familiar, see how you feel. And then push your hands into the mat, lift yourself back up, and come and sit down on your heels. Now, a few things may have happened when you went through that. You may have noticed that your elbows were too far forwards, or perhaps you left your elbows behind and you actually need to bring your head further forwards. Another thing that may have happened is you might not have been sure where the crown of the head was. So I just wanted you to go through that so that you can take some mental notes, and then now we can put it all together so that you can refine your foundation. So to find your crown of your head, if you're unfamiliar, bring your thumb to the space between the eyebrows, so your third eye. And then extend your pinky finger like so, and bring the pinky finger to the top of your head. Where that pinky finger lands is the crown of your head. So that's just a really great tip. So now if you wanted to, you could just go and test this on the mat to go and see where you want to have your pressure. Then replace your hands. And then you might find it easier if you actually bring your knees a little bit closer to you. So if you've got your knees all the way back here, it's going to be very difficult to lean forwards and bend the elbows and place the head. So you may just want to scooch further forwards. So wherever it is that you need to work on, you'll know yourself. Sadly, I can't be there with you to guide you. Let's move through that a few more times. So shifting forwards, crown of the head down, bend the elbows so they're over your wrists. Then as you find this position, focus on pressing the hands into the mat so you're pushing the floor away. And this will also take the weight out of your head, so it also supports your head and neck. Okay, just spend about 2 to 3 more breaths here. Focus on pressing the floor away. And then push the floor away, come back up and sit back.
Now, one more thing I want to talk to you about is the importance of bone stacking. And this is where we keep your elbows over your wrists and in line with your wrists. So one thing that often happens is the elbows like to shoot out to the sides, and this creates an instability because the elbow joint is no longer stacked over the wrist if it's going out to the side when the arm bends. And one of the most fundamental parts of headstands is creating stability by stacking our joints. So this time, as we go through that little drill, you'll focus on squeezing your elbows together so that you keep them in line with your wrists. So set your foundation, go through the motions just like you've been practicing.
Elbows bend over wrists, angle the head down. And as you bring your head to the mat, squeeze your elbows together and push the floor away. Hold it here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Sit yourself back up.
Take a little break. If your wrists are feeling tired, just shake them out. It's perfectly normal. If your head is feeling sensitive, that's okay. It still happens to me even after years of practice, but you do get a little bit more used to it, so don't worry, you're not doomed. Okay, so we're gonna amp things up a little bit more now. So now that we've got the foundation down, we're gonna bring the legs into it. So we're going to practice a drill where you walk the feet in and then walk them back out again. We're gonna go 5 times, but if 5 is too much for you, just take it to whatever level is accessible. So set your foundation to begin, head and hands.
Take a moment to make sure that you feel super stable, that you've got your head in the right place. Your elbows are over your wrists. Elbows are squeezing together. And then tuck your toes, press into your feet, lift your hips. So it's like you're in a down dog, but with your head on the mat. You may find that this is already far enough. If so, stay here. If you feel you can go a little further, start to walk your feet in towards your hands. Go as far forwards as you can, and then walk them back away. We're going for 5 of these, so go slow. Tiptoe your feet forwards and walk them back. Each time, see if you can challenge yourself, go a little further forwards and a little further back. Okay, last one of these, all the way forwards and all the way back. And then come back into your kneeling position.
Whew. Take the weight off your wrist completely off your upper body so the upper body gets a rest. Now is also a really good time to give yourself some feedback. Notice what you could work on. Notice perhaps where you feel instability, and then you know what you need to work on in the future. So this is a really great drill to practice to build some confidence in the beginning stages of headstand. So now let's look at your supported headstand. So this is the one where you've got your forearms on the mat and the hands are clasped behind the head like so. So for this one, the setup is very similar. So starting in your tabletop, but this time come down onto your forearms. So just like we practiced for our forearm stand, bring the hands to the inner elbows or the upper arms so that you can measure the distance from shoulder to shoulder. Then you'll keep your elbows where they are, bring your hands together and interlace the fingers, but keep the palms open so you have a space for your head. And then the crown of the head, that place you just got familiar with, is going to come right in front of your hands, and your hands will clasp the back of the head to support your head. So to begin with, just angle the crown of your head down, bring it to the mat, and then bring the hands behind your head. Then we'll just hold this here about 5 breaths. So as we practice, press the floor away, press from your elbows to your hands, and just hold it here. So just getting familiar to begin with. Okay. And then come back up, find a kneeling position. And then again, this is a good opportunity to give yourself some feedback. So notice what you felt. Did you feel that you were sinking into your shoulders? Did you feel like your elbows were escaping out to the sides? Or perhaps you hadn't quite got your head in the right position. So let's move through that again. And then this time, try to implement anything that you feel that you needed to change. So Measure the distance. Interlace your fingers. Bring crown of the head down. So hands come to the back of the head for support. And then sometimes it's also helpful just to scoot your knees in a little closer to you so you feel more stable. Then start to check in with your shoulders. Are they sinking down or are you pressing the floor away? Check in with your elbows. Are they slipping out to the sides or are you squeezing them together? And then notice how the head feels. Do you feel all the pressure in your head? If so, keep pressing through your elbows to distribute your weight better. And we'll hold for 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Coming back up, take a little rest. Weight off the upper body so it can completely relax. Then we're going to repeat that walking in exercise. And this one can be a little trickier for the shoulders, especially when you're just in the beginning stages. So really focus on prioritizing pressing the floor away so you focus on stability instead of how far you can progress with the drill, because there's always room for growth, but I really want you to get the basics down really well before you progress. So set your foundation, measure up. And then when you've checked in with your elbows, your shoulders, your head, your hands, focus on pushing the floor away, then tuck your toes and lift your hips. So like downward dog with the head on the mat. Keep pressing the floor away. You may feel that this is far enough. If so, stay here. If you'd like to go further, start to tiptoe your feet in towards your body, walking forwards. And then walking back. Gonna go 5 times. So again, little walks forwards. Go as far as you can. And then back. Keep pressing the floor away. Don't lose the integrity of your foundation. 2 more to go. Really good. Last one. Awesome. And then come back into a kneeling position. Take a little rest this time in child's pose. So belly resting towards the thighs, arms can reach forwards and the head can rest on the mat. If your shoulders are super tired, you may find that resting the arms down the sides of your body, so hands coming towards the feet, is a little easier for your shoulders at this point. So come to wherever you feel most at ease. Start to deepen your breath. When you're ready, come up to a kneeling position. That completes the end of today's session. So hopefully at this point you've learned how to warm up your entire body, not just the upper body, and how to set your foundation and work through some progressions to help you build confidence. Now, if headstand is one of your goals and you would like to achieve this goal, I'm bringing out a headstand program this week on Saturday, and I've also released a early bird sign up. So if you would like to get a special discount when the program is launched, you can head to the link in the description down below to sign up for it. There's also a sneak peek there of what you can expect from the program. This really was barely scratching the surface of what I have to teach when it comes to headstands. So if that's one of your goals, come and join the program.